Thanks for tuning in to the Animal Control Report podcast, where we help debunk the dog catcher stereotype. A lot of times people think it's the dog catcher when they hear about animal control officers, but here on the Animal Control Report, we change that by taking you inside the day-to-day operations of animal control officers. Not only will you hear stories of animal control officers, but you'll hear from industry experts as well. We are also part of the Keep It Humane podcast network. We have some amazing partners there, so check them out at keepithumane.com/podcast network. You can listen to all the animal control and animal welfare related podcasts there. And let's continue to help people help animals.
On the road again. That's correct, folks. This is the Animal Control Report live from, I'm now in Colorado with your hosts,
Ashlee Bishop.
And Texas Ashlee Bishop.
And did I say my name is Daniel Ettinger? Did I do that yet? I don't even know.
No.
I'm frazzled.
Kerfuffled.
Our flight was delayed leaving San Diego yesterday, like an hour and a half. And it's fine, like, because they notified me before getting to the airport, which was great, because when they don't notify you before getting to the airport and then you're stuck, and if you've ever been to the San Diego airport before, it is, well, Terminal 1 is not great at all. They're redoing it, should be done sometime in the next 6 months, I guess, 8 months, 9 months. But man, when you're just stuck there in that airport, it is not fun.
You have Moose with you?
Moose?
What?
Is that not your dog's name? I'm sorry.
Mooney.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna call him Moose. Was he with me in the airport?
Yeah. Or is he with you now? I'm sorry.
No, he's not here. You have to put him under the plane, and not many people like to do that.
He can be your emotional support animal. You don't need to put him under the plane then.
In fact, there was a service dog when I was getting off the plane that was sitting so perfectly at the front. It was just like sitting there like, hey, what's going on?
Nice.
Well, check out our website, keepithumane.com. Check out all the socials, Keep It Humane and the Animal Control Report. You can find us pretty much everywhere on any social platform, either one of those two, Keep It Humane or the Animal Control Report podcast. Also, check out our sponsor, livetrap.com, Tomahawk Live Trap. If you need anything like maybe some new gloves, or maybe you need a trap, or maybe you need a snappy snare, catch pull, all that good stuff. Go to livetrap.com, use discount code Keep It Humane for 10% off your order. And we're going to talk about a catch pull here in a little bit as we get into a story about a dog that was unfortunately shot. It's a hard story to hear, and we're even going to look at the video. So if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, and by the way, for those that are listening, yes, you can watch us on Spotify. You just have to know how to work your phone. And if you had an iPhone, it would automatically work for you. Somebody here in the
No, it just didn't label it the way that others have. So that's, yeah.
Pinky up, huh?
Well, if you're watching on whatever you're watching on, you can see my facial expression. There you go. Before we jump into that story, how y'all doing?
Same old. It's finally slowing down for us a little, but we feel the struggle on it. It's just every week it's a different adventure, and it's Texas, y'all. It's always insane here. It never stops. It never stops. We're still in the middle of kitten season, so they're coming in by the droves. We've had a lot of sick and injured coming through the door too, so that's been fun to deal with. But I have to say we've had a lot of great customers come through the door, both external and internal. So it's knock on wood.
It goes from kitten season to hurricane season.
Yeah.
And then back to kitten season.
Yeah, literally. We have late kitten season, but yeah, we're also, we're watching all the stuff that's going on in the Caribbean right now, and let's see which way it goes. Texas, Louisiana, Florida. So we'll start. It's already a category 3, I think, out in the Caribbean right now. So that means it's going to get a lot stronger once it comes into the Gulf, if it does. So, prayers to all of our coastal states who have to deal with what's coming this way. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everybody's preparing.
Well, let's introduce our guest today, who is not a stranger to the show. In fact, Sean Henry won the Animal Control Officer of the Year award in 2023. That was presented by the Animal Control Report. It's great to have you back, Sean. How are things?
Hi, thank you for having me back. Everything is good. There's been some changes, but for the most part, pretty good. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're being watched, Sean? Like
doing it again.
The moment you started talking, she looked up and was like,
"She's gonna do it. She's just gonna." Anytime we're gonna talk,
for those of you on YouTube and Spotify, you got to look at this dog just creeping right behind his nice love her chair back there. She's just creeping. You could just see a little bit of that face. It's beautiful.
It's great.
Is she's a shelter dog?
She is. She is my ours, I should say. Hold on, let me get the number right. She's our fourth foster fail.
Fourth.
She's our fourth foster fail. She was actually something, I wouldn't even say a case. She's kind of a story, if I could, a little bit.
Of course.
One night I was working, there was an individual, our shelter worker is closed on Wednesdays, and if somebody needs to surrender something, and they automatically bring it up to the shelter, they kind of have to wait for us as officers to get there because we are handling other kind of calls. This individual brought a dog matching her description up to our shelter and just was really, if I could say, out of pocket with our dispatchers and demanding that somebody come and pick her up because they just couldn't handle this dog. And, you know, it's only two of us at night and we are handling emergency calls. And of course, I contacted this person and said, you know, I'm so sorry. I'll get there as fast as I can. If you can, just hold on for me, but I'm handling something at this time. And it was, you got the feeling it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, I eventually was able to get down to the shelter and found out that this person had left. And it's like, okay, well, I tried calling them and said, look, you know, I want to help you, but I need to know where you're at. And I got nothing. Later that night, because I was an on-call officer, so I handle emergency calls. After a certain point, I got a call from one of the police officers stating that there's a dog, again, matching her description, that had been left in a dog park. And it's like, okay, see if you can try and find an owner, that kind of thing. Lo and behold, I go out there and I'm like, this just looks like the same dog that this person just was like, I got to get rid of. Left her in a dog park. She was in a corner, shivering, shaking, and just did not look like she was going to present well if I took her back to the shelter. You know, did what we did. We took her back to the shelter. We put her on a bit of a straight hold, and then when it came time for adoption, she didn't present well in her shelter environment. So we took a chance. We brought her home with our pack of wild and crazies, and she really did well. But I have a certain amount, and it's like, okay, we need to give her an opportunity to try to find her own family. Brought her back to the shelter so she could be adopted, and of course, she went right back into that, you know, kind of hiding in a corner, not really wanting to be around anybody else. But every time I would come back and forth, if I was dropping something off or whatnot, because they put her in a section where she could see, it's glass and you can see out into the public, she would be up and bouncing around and looking and whatnot. So it's one that put her back so she could have her, but she just came right back home to me. And we've had her ever since. And she's done so well. She's nosy. She's very nosy. She wants to know what she's doing. Is she doing it again? Yeah. She has the option to go around the chair. But yeah.
It's actually a really good segue into the topic we're going to cover today. Is I'll be honest, and I don't mean this to any disrespect to anyone else in the world, but what we do is so unique to be able to quickly judge behavior of an animal, maintain our safety and their safety, and then impound them like that. I mean, it's a skill that not many people have, and it's something that we need to be able to branch out more and teach more people, because unfortunately, some bad things can happen when people are called to calls that aren't trained in animal control. They think anybody can just go and do our job, and unfortunately they can't. And so your story of getting her in the way that you did, and now having her as a healthy, happy part of your family, just goes to show that if it's done right in the field, it can translate all the way into a happy home.
So yeah, she's
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to jump into this article and kind of talk about, this will be the topic of the day. Again, little disclaimer, if you're not an animal control officer or somebody with a, I would say like a, how would you say that? One of you bishops? Like a thick stomach?
Stomach.
What is it?
Strong stomach.
I got a thick stomach over here.
Trigger warning, I guess, was what the kids say these days.
Well, I'm gonna read part of the article, and then we're gonna actually watch the video, and then we'll probably finish it up with the rest and then talk about it. So this just happened just a little bit over a month ago in good old Missouri, where I was last week.
Not Wisconsin.
I get them so confused.
We're nothing the same.
You're exactly the same.
No.
I mean, did you know though, before we go any further, Missouri is the puppy mill capital of the world? I guess they have more puppy mills than anywhere.
Yep. That's where Rue came from, up there.
Do you ever call Rue Tang? Like Rue Tang?
No.
Just me?
Yeah, just you.
Oh my goodness.
All right, here we go. So KOMU 8, KOMU.com. Body cam footage shows dog's final moments before being killed by Sturgeon police.
That sounds fishy.
Wow. We're just throwing these bad puns out here today.
Took you a second to understand it though, Dan.
It did. It took me, I definitely paused. KOMU 8 News obtained the body cam footage from Sturgeon police officer who shot and killed a dog, appeared to be injured, sick, and abandoned. The Shih Tzu mix was killed Sunday after Officer Myron Woodson feared the dog may have rabies, according to a statement from the city of Sturgeon on Monday. In the footage that we'll watch here shortly, Woodson is seen entering a yard as the dog slowly walks around. After spending roughly 3 minutes attempting to wrangle the dog with a lasso, catch pull is what it was, Woodson quickly takes out his gun and shoots the dog twice. Okay. The officer proceeds to return to his vehicle to empty out a cooler holding drinks and put the dog's limp body into the container. In the statement posted on Facebook on Thursday, the city said it believes Woodson acted within his authority in the incident. The city believes that the officer acted within the authority based on the information available to him at the time to protect against possible injury to the citizens and what appeared to be a sick, injured, and abandoned dog, the post said. The dispatch indicated that the person calling did not want to be contacted and reported that the dog, though not in her view dangerous, was injured, maybe blind, and had mud and dry blood on its fur. The dog's strange behavior appeared consistent with dispatch's report of an injured or possibly sick dog. The body cam footage also confirms previous KOMU reporting, which detailed the interaction between the dog's owner, Nick Hunter, had with Woodson. Hunter approaches Woodson's vehicle with his own camera rolling, asking for the officer's name and badge number. In the video, the officer defends his actions, stating the caller had asked not to be contacted in regards to the incident and that the dog was not able to be captured by a leash. Woodson was heard telling Hunter that it was simply an unfortunate situation and was not issuing a citation to the dog owner. "I don't enjoy shooting dogs," Woodson told Hunter. "I'm sorry this happened." Hunter asked Woodson why he shot the dog, to which the officer replies, "What am I supposed to do? We don't have freaking animal control." And there's more. There is a current open lawsuit as well, pending the department, I think they're trying to sue for $1 million. So it's a hard one, and I really want to get into the video and look at how this officer approaches the dog, because we need to, as animal control experts, talk about what we're seeing and what this officer could have done differently. I will say, in maybe in defense, or in just maybe not, I don't know if defense is the right word. I don't know that police officer. I don't know their training and background when it comes to animals, or their own experience when it comes to animals. But come on, dude, like, just because y'all don't have animal control, like, you couldn't have called a vet in the area, like, you couldn't have made something, arrangements to get somebody out there.
So I'm looking at it right now, and in the state of Missouri, this year alone, guess how many cases of dogs with rabies they've had?
Oh, yes. I'm glad you did that. Actually, I was going to ask you to do that. Great minds think alike. I'll say a total of 1.
I'll say
Ashlee?
0.
Sean?
I say 0.
0.
0.
0.
0 dogs tested positive.
Has there actually been anybody who's been in contact with something that has rabies, like wildlife or something?
So west of the Mississippi, rabies is just different. It doesn't hit as much as east of the Mississippi.
But there's
Or the South.
actually they have rabies. So
It's just not as bad.
well, I'm looking at for the month of June in 2023, because that's what the one I have up right now. There's 12 cases of rabies just that month, and 10 in bats and 2 in skunks. So
yeah.
Unusual.
right. But for the officer to have automatically assumed rabies on that.
Let's be fair. Everybody outside of our industry is always rabies. You know,
Oh
the
my God.
skunk,
Yep.
the skunk in the middle of the day, the raccoon in the middle of the day. We're getting a lot of raccoon calls having rabies. It's kit season right now. Of course, they're going to be out. So, I mean, the reality is our industry, everybody, regardless of education, I feel like outside of our realm it's rabies.
The dog running down the sidewalk that it happens to be drooling, and I'm like, that's actually so not true that it's not even funny.
Yeah. We definitely get it a lot for wildlife calls where I'm at. Anything, like you said, Ashlee, anything that's outside that's wildlife, foxes, raccoons, possums. Oh, it's out during the daytime. Oh, it's got rabies. Like, no, that's not correct.
Well, this had some more fallout because the mayor resigned after, like, almost immediately after this, and I'm not sure what the connection was, why the mayor resigned. It doesn't show me the article.
I saw that too. I didn't find a connection of why.
Which is interesting. So I wonder, if there was some sort of internal things that were happening as well. It's a hard case to watch. We're going to get into the video, and I'm going to share my screen. So those of you watching on YouTube, yes, and Spotify will be able to see, you will be able to see the video. And so what we'll do is walk through a little bit of it. It's a 17-minute video. So I don't think we'll watch all of that, but we'll edit it and get it all nice for you. One thing to keep in mind is when the reporting party called this case in, is they never said the dog was aggressive. Like, that was not, I think dispatch specifically asked, was the dog aggressive? And she said no. So just why this officer took this approach. So
for a dog he could have punted.
Well, and I know you're being silly, but the reality of it is like, why? It's ignorance. I mean, I don't know this officer. I know he has a family and a life, but you're a police officer. You're entrusted to be able to make decisions with integrity and good judgment, and he did not in this video. Warning, some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. So here the officers pulling up to the scene. Just looks like a normal neighborhood.
I want to see what he grabs for tools.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised at the tools that he does have, to be honest.
There's Catchpole. In fact,
Uh-huh.
it's very similar to this Catchpole keychain you can get at keepithumane.com. Nice self-defense Catchpole keychain that he could have probably just used in this case, but wouldn't need to.
Why is he putting on rubber gloves?
Because everybody who doesn't deal with animals thinks they have mange or rabies.
All right.
But why the nitrile gloves and not protective gloves?
Right.
Ignorance.
That's all that they've got.
That's all they got. No, police officers have the nice leather Kevlar gel, like the ones when they arrest people. Yeah.
And some of those have Kevlar in them.
Also, I think this Catchpole is broken, and you'll see why in a little bit. It almost like, you know how like it can come apart, like in the middle. You'll see. So the tools that they have aren't even accurate. So beyond these trees here is where the dog is kind of walking around. Now remember, this dog is blind and deaf, and it weighs, I think it weighs 13 pounds.
How do we know that the dog is blind and deaf? Was that from the owner?
The owner. Yeah, so
Okay.
when the owner makes contact. There he is in the left of the screen there. And he's confused, disoriented.
Well, and that bark tells you a lot too.
That
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, a dog like this cannot be too far from its home.
Yeah.
Wait, the bark that just happened? That?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, that's my dog. Yeah, we've got one that's outside right now. I'm sorry.
No,
That's
it's okay.
That's not part of the video.
Neck's broken.
He said neck is broken there. It wouldn't be walking.
I'm glad he's a vet and can determine that, though.
There you go. Put your head in there. Put your head in there. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. There you go.
So that would not require the use of a catch
I'm
pole.
not gonna let you bite me.
Why, if you have a catch pole, you should have a leash.
There we go.
And he doesn't know how to use this catch pole because
He's letting this dog get that close to him.
I was gonna say, like, all of this in itself too, like he's talking to it like it's a baby, and you're telling me that you had to shoot this dog?
yeah.
It takes a long time to get that.
Well, and he missed. So it
How do you miss
I'm
that?
not gonna let you bite me.
because he doesn't, I think it's fear. I think the officer's afraid of dogs. Okay. See how the catch pole bent right there? And he had to put it back together.
It's a little sensitive.
Look at the dog. If you kneel down, the dog's
The
gonna
dog-
walk over to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just pick it up and walk away. He's making the situation worse because he doesn't know how to use it. Now he gets it looped around his whole body.
Trying to help you, baby.
Which not ideal by any means.
Trying to help you.
However, he had the dog contained at that moment.
He is still, this has been what, at least a minute so far. And he can't get the dog's not even going anywhere. It's just
not
walking
moving.
around.
What this whole thing amounts to is he doesn't want to spend the time.
Good call.
If I get a blanket, just wrap you up.
There he goes. Get a blanket and wrap you up. Good idea. Why don't you just do that instead?
Like smooth as hell.
I'm getting mad watching this video, I'll be honest.
That's why I watched it before, so I could get all my
All your
faces
madness.
out of the way.
So go get the blanket, dude. The dog's not going anywhere.
Yeah, hasn't left the area.
Baby.
And he clearly does not know how to use that catch pole.
So it went from let me go grab a blanket to following the dog and then just walking over and shooting it twice. And think about this, this person is entrusted in our community to make sound decisions. He did this with an animal.
I was
that
just gonna say
is
that.
extremely vulnerable. What is he gonna do with our community members?
Mm.
That's the issue that I have is not only is this an animal issue, but it's a community issue. And let's see the interaction between him here and I think the dog owner coming up.
My name is Nicholas Hunter. I live. Okay. I'm here talking to the officer that shot my dog. Who is the person that found my dog and called joint communication. And I've spoke with her and she has stated that the dog, she fed him, gave him water, and he was not fed. And she was just waiting, which nobody ever contacted her after she called joint communication, at which time she went outside. I can respond to that. I'll tell you why we didn't call him. Was my dog a correction, you or anyone else? Sir? No, I'm gonna show you something. What is your name? I'm gonna show you something. Number, sir? No, I'm gonna show you something. Come here. May I have your? I'm answering your questions. Come here. Officer Woodson. Come here. May I have your badge number? I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you why we didn't call her. That dog was.
There's still no compassion from this guy, just defensive.
Yeah.
So he just said my dog is completely blind and deaf.
What does that say right there? Does it say no contact? She said, don't call her. Now, if you want to talk, I'll talk to you happily. That's not how you handle a situation. If a dog is a threat to a person and harms a person or shows immediate threat, that's when you use force. There is many other tactics. You want to talk or you want to tell me how to do the job? I'm more than happy to talk to you. I'm more than happy to talk to you. There's no talking. You already took care of it. You handled it very poorly. Also, I like to be on the record that you told me whatever on the phone when I called about this situation. Hopefully your calls are recorded when I called in. Do you want me to respond to anything? Or you just want to sit here and lecture me? I respond to a situation. All I have is information in hand, correct? All I have is information in hand. I see a dog that is walking around blindly. I don't know the dog's blind. You didn't try to whisper? Can I respond? Yes, I tried. I have a whole team in contact with me trying to contact him. I had a little leash out too trying to catch a dog. How am I supposed to know the dog is simply, that's his medical condition? Do I know your dog? No, that is not how this works. It's not. That is not how this works. We shall find out, sir. You sure can. I'm gonna do my study. But are you trying to have a conversation or you just want to keep on going? Conversation. I guess if you're one. I'm trying to speak to you. Citation. Am I not trying to speak to you? Well, I have my citation book out. There's their pen in my hand. Am I not trying to respond to you? I'm not trying to ease the situation. No, it's a situation. I don't enjoy shooting dogs. My God, all I had was a dog with a condition. I don't know anything about it. I am sorry this happened. I'm not happy I had to shoot a dog. I got dogs myself. How am I supposed to know the dog's condition? You wear a camera? I got a camera on this recording, but I'm asking you, how am I supposed to know the dog's condition? There's other ways. There's tactics to find out if the dog responds, if he's aggressive. I understand how to make a dog respond. Lethal is last resort. You can use a taser, you can use a lasso. There's many other. Taser? I had a lasso. Other ways. I had a lasso. I was using a lasso. And did you feel harmed when you were trying to check them? Did I ever say I felt harmed? Exactly. But you're not listening. You're not listening. You're trying to argue, but I'm just trying to talk to you. Did he harm anybody when I responded to a situation? Do you want to speak or do you just want to sit here and try to lecture me? I'm not trying to lecture you. I'm not saying you're a bad dog. I'm saying I have information I have it on hand. That's all I'm saying. And I'm sorry it happened to you. I'm sorry I had to do it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're a bad owner. You don't see me writing a citation for a dog at large, do you? I'm not. It's a situation, buddy. I'm with you. Your authority. What authority? I went and spoke to a dog. I thought I had a medical issue. How was I supposed to know the dog to get hit by a car? I lived by rules of engagement for 12 years. How did I know the dog to get hit by a car? Proper way. How did I know the dog to get hit by a car? To get hit by a car? How did I not know that? How did I not know somebody didn't just throw the dog out? How was I supposed to know?
What does it matter if it got hit by a car?
If you are a dog, then you're supposed to catch him, man. You're not supposed to shoot him. You did not hear me say I attempted that. That was my first step. You take them to the pound. We don't have a humane society here. So what is your procedure? What is my procedure? We have a pound up there. And what if I put the dog in there and it was a medical emergency and the dog was bleeding internally? Then it's just sitting there suffering. And then y'all be on me about a dog suffering. So how was I supposed to do? What
They
if I
don't have a humane
Like
society?
everybody else, it was on there for an hour
Trying to
before you
justify what
responded
he's
and
done.
shot
So
it.
he,
You're supposed to put it
It wasn't on there
online,
for an hour.
put
What
the
you talking
dog in back. I have everything on my phone.
Okay.
When the lady posted it, to let me know it was lost and everything.
So it was online for an hour.
let
So I
me
didn't
know.
know about it.
Oh,
What you
it's
saying?
it's
Okay.
all on Facebook.
Okay.
It's all on
That's
Sturgeon.
fine.
And the lady has stated that there was no cause for that. There was no reason for it.
She stated afterwards.
She stated afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, she stated afterwards.
I understand that.
And you could put them in bag and you could put them
Okay, if I
online.
can
And
catch
if
him,
you
I can put him
can't
back.
find them,
If I
then
can catch him, I
a
can find. I can put him
squealing
back.
dog insinuates pain. He was not squealing.
Okay. You think all dogs squeal when they're in pain?
Most dogs squeal when
Most.
they're
See,
in pain.
not all, but most. Okay.
Most squeal when they're in pain.
Yeah. I'm not denying that. Yes, everything squeals when they're in pain.
This is so painful.
I
So
was supposed to know the
painful.
dog. I didn't know the condition of the dog.
Should we
That's what-
start squealing?
Well, I get it. The dog died. I'm not judging you on that.
No,
I'm sitting here apologizing that I had to do that.
I can handle
What?
the dog died.
that's an
Dog
interesting
was put down
comment.
for the proper reason.
Okay.
Your dog died. I'm not judging
Went
you.
about
You're
though.
living in-
There is
That's
zero
all I think.
empathy
There's a lot
from
of-
this police
But
officer
you
in
know
all
the condition of the
defense
dog.
and
That's what
justification.
you don't have.
He was not aggressive to
Okay.
a person and he was not a harm to anybody.
Okay, why was your dog not put in the house then, buddy?
He was in a kennel. He escaped from. I just went to Columbia.
Okay, and where did I find the dog?
How do I know? You did not make any attempt to do anything properly besides lethal
What did I
force.
do properly?
Lethal force.
So you
That's
have-
just-
you
that's
weren't
automatically
there.
What you went to.
You weren't there, but I know I did everything wrong.
So did the dog see me? Or
Show me a taser. Do I got a taser? You don't have a
your
taser.
hand's probably fine. You whistle to it, didn't respond. You go
So,
up to it.
Have you ever
Was
really worked
was
with an
it
injured
raining?
dog?
Have you had dog
Have
training?
you ever worked with an injured dog?
Yes. We get dog training in the military and at my work.
I'm military too, high speed.
And so,
I get it.
and so therefore, you should know a dog that's showing aggression,
I
a
know what
dog
an
that's
aggressive
showing
dog is.
all that, and that
Okay.
dog does not show any of those sorts. He shows confusion with his head sideways, walking side to side.
And as military, you know you read the signs you have on hand. Without all the material, can you read a simple, peaceful dog? No, you cannot. How was I supposed to know the dog was blind and just confused? How was I supposed to know any of that?
Then why shoot it?
By attempting to get close to him.
I did attempt.
Using an object, which is always taught to use an object.
I
That
literally
way,
just
if the
showed
dog
you
comes
I
back, you said
attempted.
you've taken training. The first thing they teach you is to, when a dog
No,
comes
you
back
said I've
to
taken
you, to
training.
put an object in front of them, and they will bite on any object you put in front of them. That's the training that they put out.
The
So you
officer's
take
already
an object
contradicting
and you
himself.
touch
He
them, you
keeps
So
saying
many
he's
times.
trained,
All right.
but mm.
Frustrating. Because we deserve better. That man deserves better. Like it's unbelievable. I feel really bad for this guy that has to deal with it.
That good?
He's showing really good restraint as well.
He is.
He is. He
Would
is.
That's all that happened to you, brother.
Did you notice though, he,
All right. Have a good
like,
night. Better night.
Wow. Have
he
a
was
better
backing
night.
away because I think he was ready to probably punch the officer.
Okay.
So
Wow. The first thoughts.
it's disgusting.
I think that's
I,
up right there.
Say that again, Sean.
I think that sums it up right there. It's just, that's disgusting. That's a total lack of sympathy or any kind of empathy. That's obviously a lack of training. And yeah, that's horrible.
I feel like it would not have obviously fixed the situation, but just for the officer to have said, I'm sorry, I fucked up, could have changed the whole dynamic there a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Be
obviously
honest.
Yeah. Take responsibility for your actions.
The first thing that I noticed when the officer got out of the car, he wanted to put the blame on the reporting party. He was like, well, look, let me show you. They didn't want contact. So what? That doesn't justify you in shooting someone's dog.
No, I think the point of that though was because the owner had said, why didn't you contact her? Why didn't you? And so I think that's what he was trying to prove. Was I didn't because of this. So he didn't have the information at that point. And I'm not trying to justify his behavior. I'm playing devil's advocate here as much as I can. Not that there's much here to play devil's advocate with, but he wanted to say, well, I was not supposed to contact her, so he didn't know that she had fed the dog, she had given the dog water, and that the dog was not aggressive.
I will say too that I'm never going to shame somebody publicly if I don't have all the answers. But after watching the video and seeing the dog, the only right answer for this guy is to not work in law enforcement again. Let me ask this question to the group. If you mistakenly put down a dog in the kennels, would you still have a job there? I mean, if the circumstance, it would have to be a circumstance where it was like you used poor judgment and didn't follow through with doing your research in the computer system. We had that happen when I worked in Denver. One of our kennel staff members, unfortunately, they did that, and they were held accountable to it. And I think this is the same situation. Like, this guy has to be held accountable. Not that it brings the owner's dog back to him, but he should be compensated largely for this offense by the community. What blows my mind out of all of this, not just the aspects of how callous and unempathetic the police officer was, is how he discharged his weapon and then just left the area. Like, that's not how it works. Like, usually when you discharge a weapon, like, that becomes a scene and they come out and they collect. Like, it was just so nonchalant. Like, it went from, let me go get a blanket to throw over the dog, which would have been the ideal thing, scoop the bad boy up, to then, there was just nothing. And then just 2 shots.
Now, could it be just different rules for, okay, yes, when you shoot a person, it's a whole scene, but if you shoot a dog, just do what you got to do, pick up the body, and go.
Yeah, it's policy.
That area, could it be something like that? Again, not trying to justify what the individual has done, but it could be different rules for different areas.
Absolutely
when it comes
right.
to animals and people, two separate sets of rules, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can tell you that here, because there's times that officers will discharge a firearm to dispatch a wild animal that is sick, and so it is not a scene at that point. It is, they check to make sure that they have, which, I mean, he pretty made it as safe as he could, and it was, he had a decent backdrop, whatever. He wasn't gonna have a bullet ricochet or anything, but yeah, there's not a scene. Officer does that, animal gets picked up, and it's a non-issue. So
At the end too, like, I think Bishop, I think you said that, one of you said, he was impatient. Like, he just wanted to go.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's super noticeable. It's super noticeable.
But is that possible that it's coming down from above? Like, they're only allowed to have so much time per call.
Doesn't matter. There's no excuse you can give me on this call that will justify those actions.
Oh, no. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm trying to now put some blame on the department as a whole.
Oh yeah, the blame goes to the department, because it's probably normal procedure to go ahead and shoot a dog that you feel is sick, injured, whatever. Like, that's probably policy.
Yeah.
Really quick, this was a hard one, but I want to walk through just really quick, because we only have a few minutes left on this episode. Have any of you, the 4 of us on here, been in a situation where it's just you and a dog or multiple dogs that you felt threatened to the point that you had to that you said the only option in this case would be to shoot it? None of us, to my knowledge, carry a firearm.
I do.
Do you carry a revolver?
9mm.
Wow.
9mm. Yes. It is part of my belt of tools, because in where I work in Virginia, we may have to, for example, injured wildlife,
Sure.
euthanasia. I've only used mine to dispatch an injured deer that it's just we can't provide any other help other than to humanely euthanize. So
Sure.
we do carry a weapon with us. I carry a taser, I carry a firearm, and pepper spray, all of those. But we are trained on how to use it and what we're supposed to, what we use it for.
Let me ask you this question then, since you have that tool, and I would imagine based on your training and experience and something we talked about earlier with your dog that you rescued, have you ever been in a situation where you felt you had to pull that firearm out on dogs?
No, not yet. I mean, my training and the way I was trained, it's like levels: leash, catch pole. If you have to assess every situation. If there was a situation where I felt that my life was in danger and then I would have to use it, I have to use the best judgment that I have to use my best judgment, but I do have the tool there if I need it, but I've never had to use it so far. Never. Not on a dog. I have not. No.
And I think everybody on this chat can agree with that. There's I've been in some sticky situations with multiple dogs, and I've been able to use my training and experience. And that's something that, unfortunately, this department failed this police officer because they don't give them that training in order to make those sound decisions.
It's what it looks like. It looks like it's a complete lack of training. And then somebody said they are probably scared of dogs. And if you've got that fear, then maybe you shouldn't go to that call. Maybe somebody else should go to that call and handle that. There's no shame in saying, "Look, I'm afraid of dogs. Can I get some backup, or can somebody else go, and then I'll back you up?" But that whole video just shows a lack of training on how to use the material, training on how to handle an animal. Just lack of training all around. That would never fly.
I had a situation where our parking control went out. 3 dogs come barreling out at him from a house. He punched one, kicked the other, and then the third one bit him. And so when I went to the house to address the quarantine issue and everything, and try to meet the dogs for a dangerous dog, investigation. Only one dog was upstairs at the time, and she had just gotten done telling me that there was puppies in the house. And all of a sudden her dog, the male, came at me. I had nowhere I could go. The only thing I had on me was pepper spray, and I'm like, Jesus, if I spray this dog and then try to get out of the door, as soon as he started barking and coming at me, 2 other dogs from other parts of the house came at me. And so I literally was surrounded. My vest is actually what saved me that day, because he kept trying to bite me in the stomach area, and my vest saved me from the bite. And every time I would try to knee him down, he'd turn to go after my knee. That incident is what made me go back and take bite stick training and get a baton. So at least now I have that, because I'm not allowed to carry anything else, but that would have been, obviously this dog wasn't aggressive towards him anyway. So none of that would have been necessary, but
I thought I was going to get a dog shot because I mishandled it. It was my fault. It was myself and Officer Humphreys and we went to a call for this aggressive, well, no, it was a dog bite. It was a severe bite. The kid was in the hospital. It was bad, bad bite. And she was nursing puppies. So she had that maternal instinct, and she was aggressive AF. And she was in a room with the puppies. And when I walked to the room, I had my catch pole, Humphreys was behind me, and then the police officer was behind her. And super cool cop, but like, I thought I had it. So I was like, we're good. And I get to the room, and she got by me and then went into the kitchen and was running around this house for a second. And I thought for sure, because of my like inability to catch the dog, that the dog was going to get shot. And thankfully the police officer was, you know, he trusted us to do our job, and we ended up getting her out. But those are tough situations. Like, we never want to, like, regardless of what the dog's done, like, we want to try to still treat it with the compassion it deserves. And even if the, you know, end result is euthanasia due to the behavior or something in that nature, or its physical well-being, then I mean, at least we can show some mercy. And I don't think this situation showed that.
I agree. You know, I have not been doing the ACO part as long as y'all. So I haven't had too many experiences like this out in the field, definitely in the shelter. But you know, I lean a lot on my assistant supervisor because she's got a lot of experience. And luckily we get to go what I like to call field trips all the time. So we're out and about. And I get to get that good experience and stuff like that out in the field, because obviously it's a lot different. But you know, with as much as experiences that she's had as well, you know, she tells our officers all the time during their training is like, you need to be aware of your surroundings as well. She's like, I've gotten trash cans in the way. I have gotten, you know, this or that or the other. Like, never once has she said like, yeah, I needed to, you know, I wish in this situation I had a tool where I could, you know, destroy the animal or whatever the case might be. You know, never has she once said any of that. Not even once.
Yeah. I'll be honest, this is hard. It's a hard case to talk about, but hopefully we can raise enough awareness that, you know, that this officer can do mandatory training. I taught at the Denver Police Academy for several years about how to safely interact with dogs so this situation wouldn't happen. If one of the students that I taught did this and they questioned their training and I had to come and testify on what I trained, I guarantee you that my training would have said there were so many different methods that police officer could have used to safely capture this dog. And it's unfortunate. So join us next week where we talk about more positive things in animal welfare. This was a hard one. So if you stayed the whole way, we appreciate you listening. The best thing that you can do for us is please leave a 5-star review. That really helps us. It puts us up the charts. There's charts that people, I guess, use. So please review the podcast, share, check out our website, keepithumane.com. And as always, we like to say, thanks for listening, and
Help people.
help animals. Keep it humane.